Every year, heavy rains at the head of the Nile cause the water level in Egypt to rise and flood the land. These floods turned the desert into a fertile valley. Farmers depended upon the nutrient-rich flood to water their crops. They dug the first irrigation canals to help them move Nile water to their fields. After the floods, when the water level of the Nile began to fall, the irrigation canals were blocked off, storing the water for later use. As a result, they could grow more food. To gauge the flood levels, the early Egyptians used a nilometer. The measurements from the nilometer became part of the basis for a 365-day calendar, like the one we use today. This calendar helped the ancient Egyptians predict when to plant and when to harvest their wheat. They recorded events like the wheat harvest in their art. Along with pictures, the ancient Egyptians used a written language called hieroglyphics, made up of secret symbols. By looking at these pictures and symbols, we can learn a lot about the Egyptian people. You can see from these pictures of women in ancient Egypt that they decorated themselves with dark makeup around their eyes and gold jewelry around their necks. Only the wealthy Egyptians could afford to buy makeup. Both men and women used it because they thought it made them look beautiful. The women wore robes made from linen fabric, and the men usually wore skirts. Among the most ancient customs in Egypt was the hennaing of hands. Henna is a plant that leaves a colored mark on the skin. At this modern Egyptian wedding, the bride's hands are decorated with henna to make them beautiful, much like the ancient Egyptians did. From these ancient sculptures of a man and woman, we can see that the early Egyptians believed in marriage. For them, marriage was forever. It was a bond that continued even after death. The Egyptians believed that when they died, their spirits would continue to live. The Ankh became a symbol for the idea of eternal life and was incorporated into the hieroglyphic language as a cross with a loop on top of it. This symbol was one of the few hieroglyphics that could be understood by almost all the common people. You can see what a large role religion played in the lives of the ancient Egyptians.